And thank you so much for joining us here at noon. I'm Dustin Grove, along with meteorologist Rob Ellis. What unrelenting rain.
Yeah. I mean, there's batches of it that have come through. They've been pretty heavy at times.
Yeah.
We're going to be wrapping that up before we ring in the new year.
Okay.
But as it winds down, we could see a little bit of snow, and then the temperatures are really going to drop. So that may cause some problems. Let's get right into it and show you the larger picture. The center of circulation of this upper level low that's moving through here is really almost right over us, which means that we're pretty much halfway done with this system. The heaviest rain has been on the eastern flank of this. As it wraps up, the rain should be lighter in intensity. We'll dive in a little bit closer. You can still see some of those heavier downpours moving through. Most of that is east of Indy, between Indy and, say, Richmond, maybe right along Interstate 70. If you're going to be driving over the next several hours, just know that you will certainly have some rain to deal with. The good news here is temperatures are mild, and I'm saying mild by late December standards. 49 is where we sit currently. Those temperatures will likely hold or maybe drop over the next several hours, but at some point, once we wrap this rain up and it all moves to the east, then the temperatures will drop really after most of the moisture is done. But because the moisture is still going to be in place, some leftover puddles and rain on the roadways, then the temperatures drop. A little bit of concern about maybe a couple of bridges and overpasses becoming icy as that leftover moisture is there. And as we head into the new year, the temperatures are expected to be below freezing. Temperatures likely into the 20s as we go into the overnight. I'll talk about what we see in the new year coming up, Dustin.
See you then, Rob. Thank you. To the headlines now. Metro Police searching for the suspect who killed a man on the city's south side, and we now know the victim's name. This was the scene last night. Let's take you there. This is along El Lago Boulevard near Rural Street and Hannah Avenue. Police tell us it started around 9:30 when they got a call from somebody who heard gunshots. On the way to the scene, officers found 30-year-old Dilmer Miuro in the street.
There is at least one eyewitness on scene. However, there's a language barrier. So homicide detectives are going to have to work with that person and get a translator and take them down to homicide office and interview them. Crime lab is on scene at this time, and homicide detectives are scouring the area to see if there are any more possible witnesses in the apartment complex.
No word whether police have any suspects in this case. Of course, we'll continue to follow it and bring you any updates just as soon as we get them. Metro Police detectives are also piecing together yesterday's traffic stop that led to a chase and then a deadly police shooting on the east side. It ended with the suspect dead in his car. Our Chase Howell was at the scene shortly after. He spoke with witnesses who saw officers chasing the man.
They say as they were looking down the road to see what was going on, they heard about 10 gunshots. And come to find out, police say the shots they heard were coming from the guns of an IMPD officer and a Lawrence police officer. The windshield of this car riddled with bullet holes. This comes after police say a man fled from a basic traffic stop on Pendleton Pike in Lawrence. But before he took off, police say a woman got out of the man's car.
I mean, she's cooperating with law enforcement. We're still trying to get additional information to try to see what all took place right prior to that.
While both Lawrence and IMPD officers took after him, they say he began shooting at them.
People driving to and from the grocery store, bringing their kids home from daycare or wherever they're going, did not sign up for that. They don't deserve to have that happen in their neighborhoods and through their public street.
Police say the man stopped here on 30th Street, just off of Shadeland Avenue. It was then when police say they told him several times to come out with his hands up, which they say he refused, and that's when officers began firing.
I'm not sure what else we're supposed to do when our officers are attacked by guns, by knives, by machetes, that they have a right to go home to their families at the end of the night.
And while no officer or bystanders were injured, several cars were hit by bullets. IMPD says if you're one of them, to call 911. This month alone, there have been 4 officer-involved shootings, including this one. Year to date, there have been 17. Reporting here in Indianapolis, Chase Howell, 13 News.
Both of them were loving and caring young men, and they were definitely family guys as well.
A local family grieving the loss of 2 cousins, both stabbed to death over the weekend. Police say it started with a fight inside the Havana Sports Lounge near 10th Street and High School Road early Sunday morning. Cousins Tyler Amos and TJ Walker were killed. Their relative, Carlton Amos, says the 2 men had called another family member to pick them up because they didn't feel safe. And by the time that person got there, both had been stabbed. He rushed them to the hospital.
We can't see what the future holds for Bruiser. We can't see the better that TJ said that he was wanting to be because someone took it. You took it from our family.
The family and police are asking anyone with information to come forward, and you can do so by calling IMPD or you can call Crime Stoppers. You don't have to give your name. The number's on your screen, 317-262-TIPS. New developments this afternoon in the death of a woman found beaten to death in an apartment. Metro Police say they have now arrested a 22-year-old man. Officers say they found the woman inside one of the units at an apartment complex on Ella Dobbs Lane off East Stop 11 Road. They say she'd suffered blunt force trauma and died at the scene. Indiana state employees will have more money in their bank accounts in the new year. Governor Holcomb just announced bonuses for all state workers. Our partners at the Capitol Chronicle say state employees got a letter notifying them about it. It says full-time employees will get $1,250. Part-time and intermittent employees will get $650. Budget officials say this will cost the state between $20 and $22 million in all. The state of Indiana currently has about 32,000 full-time workers. Last year, they got $500 and $1,500 along with the 3% raise. We've got a heads up for drivers. A major construction project is starting this week on Indy's northeast side to keep highway workers safe on the job. 465 at East 71st Street is just one stretch of the highway under construction as part of what's known as Operation ClearPath, the ClearPath project. Well, starting this week, INDOT's Worksite Control Pilot Program will be implemented in these areas right here. They're basically construction zone speed cameras. If you go through there more than 11 miles an hour over the posted speed limit, the system will take a picture of your license plate. This week marks the beginning of a 30-day pre-enforcement period. That means drivers will not get a ticket who are caught speeding. After that, though, drivers will receive one warning, and then from there on out, you will get a ticket.